Today we're going to revisit how to multiply and divide decimals. We are going to multiply decimals fluently, recap on our terminology. So the answer to a multiplication problem is what we call a product. Okay. And then the answer to a division problem is what we call a quotient. Okay, so we are going to multiply decimals first. And when we multiply decimals, we're going to take one factor, multiply it by the other factor, and it results in your product. So looking at number 1, if you notice over here, we have all of our steps to multiply. Step 1, you do not need to line up the decimals. When writing the problem vertically, we're going to actually right align it. Step 2, multiply like normal, ignoring the decimals. So let's do step 1 and step 2. Step 1 says we don't have to line up the decimals. We're going to take the number that has the longest or the most digits, and we're going to place it up top. Okay. Then step 2 says you don't, step 1 says that you are going to write the problem vertically and you do not need to line the decimals up. So we're going to right align it. So that means your last number in both of the problems need to be stacked on top of each other. So last number was 9, last number is 3. Okay. And then I'm just going to write it here. Okay, so I didn't line my decimals up. So then step 2 says that we need to multiply like normal, ignoring the decimal. Step 3 says count the number of decimal places in both factors. I like to do step 3 before step 2, usually. So I count the numbers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to the right of the decimal. So I place a 5 over here and then I leave it alone. And then I ignore my decimals and multiply like normal. Okay, so here we have 9 times 3, which is 27. We have 5 times 3, which is 15 plus 2 is 17. Then we have a 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1 is 4. Then we have a 3 times 1, which is 3. Add a 0 for place value. Okay. So now we have a 0 times 9, which is 0. A 0 times 5, which is 0. 0 times 1, which is 0. And a 0 times 1, which is 0. Okay, we're going to add all of these numbers together. 7, 7, 4, 3. Okay, 5 numbers to the right of the decimal, so I'm going to start in the back of my product. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so when we have a place value missing, remember we fill a 0 in right there. And we should get 0.03477. Let's go to the next problem. Find the value of the following. Okay, so in this case, remember I placed the digits, the last 2 digits stacked on top of each other. Okay, so I have 8.5, and then the 5 and the 3. If we notice, our decimals happen to line up in this problem, and that's okay. If it happens, it happens, but that's not your goal. Your goal is to take the last 2 numbers and stack them on top of each other. Okay, remember I count how many numbers are to the right of the decimal. There are 2. Okay, I want you to press pause and multiply this out, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, you should have gotten 19.55. Check if you didn't, check your rows right here and see if yours match up to mine so that you can find your mistake. Number 3. Casey chews a pack of gum every day. If he buys 12 packs of gum for $2.29 each, how much will she spend on gum? So each pack costs $2.29 and she bought 12 of them, right? So this operation is multiplication. So we have $2.29 per pack, and we bought 12 of them. Okay, so remember, do we line up our decimals? No. Good. So that's what it should look like. The number with the most digits on top. We have two numbers to the right of the decimal. Okay. And then we multiply like normal. 9 times 2 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 0 for a placeholder. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, we're going to add our numbers. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 5 is 14. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and then 2. Okay, so what do we do with that 2 right here? We put it back in our number. Start in the back. 1, 2. Okay, we get $27.48 on gum. All right, so that's it for multiplication. We're going to go into division. So if you look over here, we have our steps for dividing decimals. Step 1 is to write the problem with the dividend on the inside and the division sign and the divisor on the outside. So this is showing you, this is showing you your steps or what division looks like. So remember fraction notation as division right here. So the top number goes on the inside, right? The bottom number goes on the outside. So also, if it's like this, with this number right here, this is your dividend. And this is your divisor when it's written in a straight line. So the second number is what you're dividing by. So I'm going to set up my division. 1.8 is always it's the first number, so I'm going to write it first. It's the first number, so it also goes inside the house. We have to write the number first before we draw the house, so if that helps you. Okay. Now, we cannot divide by decimals, so we want to make it into a whole number. So on the outside, we're going to move it over as many times as needed to make it a whole number, okay? And that was 3 times. What I do on the outside, I'm going to do on the inside. Okay? So then I'm going to rewrite my number. Dividing into 1,800. Okay, so we see how many times does 45 go into 1,800. And so we're going to go off to the side. 45 times, go with 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Okay, so it goes in 4 times, minus 180, 0 left over. Bring down your 0. 45 goes in a 0, 0 times. Okay, so your answer is 40. Okay, I'm actually going to stop the video here, and then we're going to continue on with the short second video for the last 2 problems.